South Carolinians, if you are watching this, you're going to want to stay tuned, especially if you're a conservative in South Carolina, because there is a decades-long battle that is taking place to simply close your primary. So today, I've got our South Region Field Manager, Dan Stewart, D-Stew as he goes by. What's going on, D-Stew?
Hey, thank you for having me, Eric.
Yeah, absolutely. This should be fun. We're going to bring in Representative Mike Burns into this conversation too, who's really like leading the charge in South Carolina with simple things, common sense things like, why don't we let Republicans choose Republicans and Democrats choose Democrats in the South Carolina primaries? That makes a lot of sense to me, Representative Burns.
Makes all the sense in the world. To most of us in the state, it's an overwhelming issue that we've supported for about 12 or 15 years, yet we're unable to just recently to get the hearing process started on it, and then we're stalled again. So,
and it sounds like
we're trying to push better. We're getting a lot of help from the folks across the state, but we're not getting help from the powers that be within the House of Representatives right now.
Yeah, it's funny how often the people who campaign on change and protecting our liberties, protecting our rights, lowering our taxes, reducing the size and scope of government, and then the people do their part, right? They go vote for these people. And then once they get elected, it seems like they oftentimes run away from the very things that they campaigned on. And it sounds like in South Carolina, there's maybe 2 or 3 attempts. It sounds like House Bill H 3310 is what you're referring to, that the people of South Carolina have latched onto and are demanding that some action takes place on this bill. Can you tell us about that?
Well, to back up one time, I've been filing this same bill for about 13 years. And, we've had referendum after referendum where the people who've spoken in the 80-something percentile rate each time we want to close the primaries. And yet we've never got the process to even get a hearing till just now. And then the hearing was cut short. No vote was taken. The people overwhelmed the state house. The people want a pure, clean bill where Democrats elect Democrats, Republicans elect Republicans, and keep the voting pool pure. And it seems like a simple project that the people want, but we're not able to get it passed yet. And I'm sorry to say, I think the reason we're doing that is because many of my contemporaries come from a more purple area, and they want to make sure that they continue to get elected rather than pass what the people across the state want. So we're in a conundrum, and the people are rising up, and this just keeps coming up to a fever pitch. And What's recently happened, we've refiled yet another bill, a cleanup bill, where they can register the first go round at the polls as a Republican or at the polls as a Democrat, and only have Republicans electing Republicans, Democrats electing Democrats, and no crossovers.
Sure. So for folks who have no idea what this issue is, if they've never heard of closed primaries, can you just explain to the people watching this, what is a closed primary versus an open primary? What is the problem that you're seeking to solve here?
Well, the problem is we're an open primary state, and so anybody can come and elect. For instance, I'm a Republican. All the Democrats, all the independents can cross over and come into the Republican primary, which is put on by the Republican Party, which is a private organization in our state. And, what we're doing is we're having everybody elect a Republican candidate. The Republican creed has a number of things that we stand for. Mm-hmm. And yet we're electing people who don't believe in many of the things that are platform issues in the Republican Party because of this crossover. And so there's about, 20 states, 26 states, somebody can do the math on that, mm-hmm. But it actually have real close primaries where you elect people out of your system and put up the best conservative candidate for Republicans and Democrats can do the same and not have Republicans cross over into theirs if that was possible. That actually happened back in the 70s, 80s in South Carolina when it was a Democrat state. We actually had Republicans cross over and try to pollute the Democratic pool back in those days. So it's worked two ways over time here. But, South Carolina is a huge red state, but our legislature is not as red as the people want it to be. And the reason is because our primaries are open rather than closing them.
Yeah. So it sounds like what you're saying is, like, if you're a strong conservative candidate, some anti-liberty or liberal candidate could challenge you. They could claim they're a Republican, and they could get all their Democrat buddies to come vote for them in your primary under the guise of being some hardcore conservative Republican, or maybe they don't even pretend that they're a hardcore conservative Republican. And so it waters down the legislature, it sounds like. Is that kind of accurate?
Yeah, that's exactly. That's as articulate as you can get. That's exactly what's happened to the legislature in our state. And, you can't, we got 124 members of the House of Representatives. And on the hardcore conservative voting, we do good sometimes to get 30 votes on what a generation ago would have been, everybody would have voted for without conscience.
Right. Gotcha.
And so, we're just, the legislature has changed before the people have changed. The people are still really conservative across the state, but our pool of the 124 is not that conservative now.
Yeah.
And it's because of this primary system that's open.
Gotcha. So what is state party leadership doing? We were talking about the South Carolina GOP chair. Like, where does he come down on all this?
Well, actually, it's improvement. There was a weaker bill that was also heard earlier in the session when my bill was heard, and it was a step in the right direction, but we chose not to go far enough. It would not let Democrats cross over and elect Republicans, but it would let independents and unaffiliated voters cross over and elect Republicans. And so I used the analogy, in the hearing down there that, we're a private organization. Let's pretend we're Burger King Corporation, and we got to elect a new CEO, and we want somebody that suits our corporation, what we want. And what we're doing is analogous to going over and letting some of the board members from Cracker Barrel come over and help us elect our CEO. And that just makes no sense in the world to do that. And all the trouble that Cracker Barrel's been in by what their CEO's been doing.
Yeah.
And so we would let them come over and pollute our pool of who we want to elect. And that's what's been happening for years. The people are demanding that that be straightened out. We close the primaries so this ends. And so the legislature can actually more quickly act on conservative values that the people stand for in our state. And,
So, if you're, and Mike, whether Representative Burns, D. Stu, but if you're in South Carolina right now and this fires you up and you're going, this is ridiculous. I don't want lefties or liberals voting in my primary. Like, what can people be doing?
Well, people should be calling the Judiciary Committee chairs, and their numbers are all listed online. You can see who the chair of the Judiciary Committee is, the sub chair that actually had this hearing, and they need to be calling and emailing, letting their requests be known, that it makes a difference when these people come to the State House, when they light the phones up, when they light the emails up, and the people in their district demand change in this issue, demand to close the primaries, it starts swaying votes. And I'll tell you how this happened if you got another second.
Yeah.
The weak bill had a lot of support going in, and 3310, had the most conservative people in the State House on that side. And when the people flooded the State House, let their requests be known, we had a lot of people change allegiances, had a lot of people swap from the mediocre bill to the strong bill. And so the people's intervention weighing in on the issue makes a huge difference. Got to push on. They need to continue to make these phone calls and these demands for another hearing. We need for the new bill, I think it's 5183 that was just filed. We need for that new bill to be heard. And, you know, we're pushing for a hearing on it right now. And I think we'll probably have to invoke a rule and have ask for a demand hearing on it to get it, because we're in the second year of a 2-year session right now. And we're getting ready very soon to go into budget week. And then after budget week, it's also an election year. And people are, the year's going to get gone on us is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And we're going to run out of time. Yet again, we'll run out of time.
So right now is 3310, House Bill H 3310, is that like dead? Is that an old number and the new number is 5183? Or I want to make sure people are clear. What should they be calling? What bill number should they reference?
Well, they can reference either bill, 5183 or 3310. They're both alive. The new improved version to not disenfranchise people at the last minute at the polls is 5183. And so that's where we're turning toward. But, everybody knows what 3310 is. So, they're kind of one in the same, except for one or two little minor changes that would make it implemented at the polls easier the first go round.
Gotcha. D. Stu, question for you. So you've been in South Carolina this legislative session. I don't think you've been there the whole time, but you've been boots on the ground. What are the people talking about in South Carolina related to this issue?
Sure. I think we've just seen quite a bit of a temperature change this session on the closed primaries issue. As Mike mentioned, they had like 30 co-sponsors jump off of the Incumbent Protection Act. That was
30. Wow, that's crazy.
Like co-sponsors.
Yeah, I didn't get to hear what he said. He's muted out on my end, so I missed that.
Oh, sorry. You should be muted. We can hear you. D. Stu's saying how like over 30 people jumped off of the watered down bill to jump onto 3310. So
that's right. Because the people rose up and let their requests be known. They really weighed in hard. And it makes a huge difference when they weigh in like this.
I agree. I mean, and I'm curious to get your thoughts on this, D. Stu, but like the message, in my view, every politician needs to hear one very clear message from the people that they're supposed to represent. And that message needs to be, that the people need to communicate is, you work for us, we hired you, you're going to do what we told you to do, or we'll find someone else who will. We'll hire someone else. And when politicians get that message, especially if it's delivered sternly and with purpose, then the politicians tend to listen. They know ultimately they're accountable to who they're supposed to serve. And like you've mentioned, Representative Burns, ultimately what most politicians care about is staying in that elected office. So that is the key message every elected official across the country needs to hear. What are your thoughts, D. Stu?
Yeah, I 100% agree. And we've already seen that start to kind of take shape. At the end of session last year, there was a vote that Mike and several other conservative members helped force that basically said, hey, even though we're adjourning, we've still got some issues we need to get done and settle with. And one of those issues was closed primaries. And you had something like 60 so-called Republican legislators vote to kill that, who at least are supposed to claim they support closing the primaries and stand with conservative principles. And now we're seeing a lot of those people actually start to support closed primaries and jumping on to House Bill 3310 and the new bill that Mike filed. So
right. So there's 124 members in the House?
Yes.
In South Carolina, and 60 House Republicans voted against it last December?
Yeah, ballpark 60. It would have been in May.
Oh, in May. Okay, gotcha. Wow. I mean, the rhino problem is rampant throughout the whole country. Is the rhino problem that big of an issue in South Carolina where essentially half the body doesn't want to vote for good conservative policy?
Unfortunately, it's probably a third of the body that is in that category, and another third of the body feels like they have to walk the party line or they'll walk the plank. And then the last third is going to do exactly what they believe is the right conservative thing. So therefore, we got this continuing war going on between the factions. And it's not just on closed primaries. It's, most weeks there's a huge divide.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the way it goes right now.
It's true. I'm in Wyoming right now. We had a vote for final passage in the Wyoming State Senate yesterday on SEPA, the Second Amendment Protection Act. Great conservative, pro-liberty legislation. There's 2 Democrats in the Wyoming State Senate. They both voted for SEPA yesterday. The only no votes were 5 Republicans. And that kind of blew me away, that 5 Republicans in Wyoming vote against SEPA, but the 2 Democrat senators voted for it. That is pretty wild.
Wow.
Do you think are there Democrats in the South Carolina State House that would vote for SEPA?
Very few, few, but there are some. To be honest, there are some, but not many.
That's pretty amazing. All right. Well, what else do you guys want to communicate while you have this opportunity here?
Sure. I mean, I don't want to leave the viewer feeling all doom and gloom. I will say I do think this session, or at least this year, the first month of this year, there has been a lot of headway in some of the bad bills that we've been able to kill or at least delay. More recently, on Wednesday, the Pray Safe bill was sent back to committee. This bill would have given out grants to places of worship for security, including satanic temples and mosque, and was authored by a radical liberal who passed a bill last year that called mothers state employees who give birth. And she's actually a subcommittee chair too, empowered by so-called Republican leadership in the House. But thankfully, we were able to get that bill sent back to committee. There was the hemp vote earlier a couple weeks ago as well, where it came down to the floor, and just a terrible bill that was going to put thousands of people out of jobs. And that ended up being sent back to committee on the floor via a vote, which I haven't seen anything like that in recent history. So I think we're definitely making some good headway this session, and at least killing a lot of bad legislation or delaying it.
Yeah, I thank you guys. I know you guys put in a lot of great work in South Carolina. I think there's some great liberty legislators in South Carolina and D-Stews all over this thing. So I agree. We don't want people to be doom and gloom. There's things you can do. Call the judiciary chairs and tell them you want a hearing on what, 5183?
Yes, sir, 5183.
5183. All right, House Bill H 5183. All right, well, thanks for joining me, guys. We'll catch you later. Representative Burns, good luck on this fight. Please keep us posted. We'd love to do a follow-up here.
Can't wait to do a follow-up. Thank you for your advocacy. We appreciate it a lot. It's good talking with you and your audience.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys. We'll catch you later.
Yep, bye.
Well, in closing here, I will remind people, if you are sick and tired of being politically disrespected, and you want your political voice heard by your elected officials, as I've already kind of hinted, the message needs to be very clear that you work for me. You will do what I want, or I'll hire someone else who will. If you want to be politically respected, you must be politically feared.